Well, the Premier League is starting today. Man City is going to be hosted by Burnley. And after this video, I promise you I'm going to come back with my Premier League predictions of 2023-2024 season. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're totally watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. We are here to discuss Arsenal, a game that's going to be an early kickstarter tomorrow at the Emirates, and it's going to be between Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. So Nottingham have gone ahead to sign a player from Arsenal. Is he the one who's going to be in between the stages? That is Matana. All that and more into this good discussion of a game. So let's see close to 500 likes much in this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, when you look at Arsenal, they are almost having the entire squad available. Apart from Gabriel Jesus and Balogan, the rest of the players are really available. Zinchenko is back in training. We don't know whether he's really going to find himself in a position of really starting. But all I can confirm to you is that Arsenal are really ready to obviously do the needful and really get the best out of this beautiful game of football. When you look at Nottingham Forest, they've gone ahead to sign the likes of Anthony Elanga, right? Matt Turner is another one who is really ready to obviously face his former side. And when you look at their injuries, Felipe is also out. Omar Richards is also out. Moussa Niakite is also out. But Matt Turner is expected to be in between the stitches, meaning that when you look at Nottingham Forest, they really have some few injuries, but are not going to affect them to it that they do the needful. And for Arsenal, I think it's only Gabriel Jesus and the rest of the players are really available. And when you look at Nottingham Forest, you would anticipate that Turner is going to be in goal, while Bolly, McKenna and Aurier, that is the back four. Yetis, Danilo and Mangala, midfield three, plus Gibbs White, Johnson and Elanga are going to be the front three of Nottingham Forest to take on this Arsenal side. To give you a little bit of a reminder or a glimpse on how things were really unfolding at the club of Nottingham when they played Arsenal at the end of the season, especially at their stadium known as the City Ground. They beat Arsenal by 2-1. Not so, I think that game ended 2-1 at the end of the season. That's how that game really ended. But early this season, Arsenal had hosted Nottingham Forest at the Emirates, and you know how it went. It went down into a 5. It went down into a 5. It was a 5. I think it was a 5. It was a 5-0 thriller. In that game, Bukayo Saka really got injured, but it was Reece Nelson who scored a brace. I think Martinelli scored at the beginning of the game. Then there came Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard. So Arsenal beat them by 5-0, and the game ended in favor of Arsenal. That is the first fixture they played at Emirates. But they've always had some good games away from home, especially against Arsenal. Even in the FA Cup of 2021-22, Arsenal was knocked out by Nottingham, and Nottingham saw themselves, I think, being knocked out by which team? Because they gave Arsenal a very horrible time there. So as it stands, it's all about Mikel Arteta organizing his army to face this side of Nottingham. And this is the beginning of the game of the season, and it's really so much different from how they started last season, where they almost won the title, because they started away from home and they won that beautiful game of football by 2-0. That was against Crystal Palace. Now, for Man City, they're opening up today with Burnley, and they're playing away from home at Burnley, a game that might not look so easy for Pep Guardiola as he faces his former player at Man City and captain, that is Vincent Kompany, at their stadium of Burnley tonight. So let's go into the starting 11 probable as we, the team of Rokani Media Football, have gone ahead to come up with, and see what you guys have to say about it. The system is a 4-3-3 system. You know, Mikel Arteta is now an addict of this system, and there is no way you can keep him off this system. When we go to other departments, with David Raya transfer expected to be confirmed today by Arsenal, we anticipate that it's really going to be one of those competitive sides, and it's going to be Aaron Ramsdale to start in goal, because I don't see David Raya starting in goal. Aaron Ramsdale is starting in goal at the Emirates, and he's ready to compete for that number one position of Arsenal, especially as far as being in between the stitches is really concerned. He put up a very fantastic performance as Arsenal went ahead to play against Man City in the Community Shield that saw Arsenal win it by 2 goals, by 5 goals to 2, 4-1 in penalties, and in total the game ended 5-2 because Arsenal had gone ahead to score 1 goal in the 90 minutes. The same applies to City. So I anticipate him to start onto or in between the stitches of Arsenal, that is Aaron Ramsdale. We go to the right fullback. Anticipate Ben White. Looks like Mikel Arteta is sold on an idea to keep Ben White to that position, and he showed us by the way against Man City that Ben White is untouchable. Ben White is untouchable and is a player that he really desires to keep in the club. Even when he shifted to a back 3, you know, even when he took off, even when a time of substitutions started or came, he never took off Ben White. He took off Julian Timber and brought on Kieran Tierney. And when the time reached to shift to a back 3, even Ben White was really left on the field of play, and he played in the back 3 of William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Ben White. That is the back 3 of Arsenal, meaning that sometimes we'll see Arsenal playing with a back 3 this season. So Ben White is going to play as a right back unless otherwise a late injury is faced. Left back, it's almost going to be the same. That is Julian Timber. He's going to come in through and obviously get the job done and dusted, because he plays that inverted left back position very, very well. For Zinchenko, he might be in contention to start, but I think this time around there's no reason to hurry him. He needs to heal completely, though he has been part of the last 2 weeks training sessions at Arsenal, that is at London Conley, but I don't see him obviously starting this game of football. But if at all Arteta names him, I won't be surprised. But this game is not so much calling for Zinchenko, and I believe Zinchenko has all the time to rest, because when you look at the fixtures of Arsenal, they're really coming thick and fast. It's Arsenal against Nottingham, then Crystal Palace next Monday, then Fulham, then Manchester United on the 3rd. So I think these fixtures, the first 3 fixtures, can offer flexibility for Mikel Arteta not to hurry Zinchenko, and Zinchenko might take these 3 weeks to heal fully and obviously get back to full fitness, because that calf injury has affected his career very, very much. But for Julian Timber, he really played very well against Man City as an inverted left back. Do you know that he really made close to 2 blocks in the 6 yards box area of Arsenal that would have gone ahead to result into goals? So in the central defense, obviously I don't expect any change. It's going to be William Saliba, a right-sided centre-back, alongside Gabriel Magalhaes as the left-sided centre-back. Expect Arsenal to start that way into that beautiful game of football at Emirates, and obviously that's going to be the back 5 of Arsenal according to me. Now we go to the midfield 3. Is he going to change any of those? That's a very huge question, but I really doubt. I think Thomas Partey is going to sit at the base of the midfield and is going to be played as a single pivot into this beautiful game of football. And you saw what he put up when they are playing Man City. He was really so much solid in that central defensive midfield and offered what Partey had to offer. And them working as a unit alongside Martin Odegaard, right, and Declan Rice in that midfield, they all looked like vintage midfield of Arsenal, of That midfield of Eduardo Gaspar, that is the sporting director of Arsenal right now, Edu, and Patrick Vieira. To me, that is the best midfield of Arsenal I've ever seen, ever since Arsenal really claimed their victories in the due course of becoming invisibles. That was the best midfield. Gilberto Silva, Patrick Vieira, and Silva Apreciado. Even when Patrick Vieira left and they brought in Fabregas, you saw to it that it was a very good midfield. I think the other midfield of Arsenal that really saw that was really good was Song Bilong, Rosicky and Heleb. It was another good midfield of Arsenal during then. But ever since then, I had never seen Arsenal having a good midfield like this. Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, and Martin Odegaard. To my understanding, I really believe that all they need is time to build that chemistry. The moment they build that chemistry, they're really going to be one of the best midfields in the world. And I think for Declan Rice, I showed us that he's a better number 8 at Arsenal than a 6. And whoever has gone ahead to obviously say that he was one of the best 6s in the world was a liar. If Thomas Partey can't go into the ilk of Rodri and Casemiro, yet Declan Rice cannot go past Thomas Partey or Jorginho in that CDM role of Arsenal, then he's not a best 6. Arsenal signed a replacement of Granit Xhaka. Maybe later in the other seasons to come, but this season I don't see Declan Rice playing as a central defensive midfielder. No way. Partey and Jorginho are way ahead of him, and there is no reason for him to obviously find himself in a position of being there in their free. That's why I always I call him overrated. The English overrate him as a CDM, but I think he cannot displace Partey into that position or Jorginho. They do a better job than him. When he was at West Ham, he was the everything, But this time round, he has to play in a team where there are other stars, and for him to become a star, he needs close to 2-3 seasons to obviously showcase what exactly he is all about. But this is a very beautiful game for Declan Rice. It will help him obviously thrive in the midfield, and if at all he can even get his first goal of the Premier League season against Nottingham Forest, all put up assists, I think it's really going to work in his favor to build his confidence. Apart from them coming out and putting out stories that he's playing at 80% fitness rate, that is really bad of the media team is really not doing a good job. Let the player thrive, the player is fit, and there's no way Mikel Arteta would play him when he's really unfit. Now, Bukayo Saka is going to play as a right forward, and I think he had a silent game against Man City. Obviously, they closed him down. But this is the game of football where he's going to really show his best abilities this season, and he needs to show us that where he stopped last season is where he's starting this season. He needs to set the bar more higher than he set it last season, because last season he scored close to 14 league goals and put up close to 13 assists, and this time round he needs to hit a double figure of goals in a season. And if Arteta can do it in the Premier League only, that will be a very huge milestone. So the task ahead of him is to maintain the levels or surpass those levels, to see to it that he matches those claims that he's the best right winger in the world. Then on the left side, obviously, I think this zone is owned by Gabriel Martinelli, though I think Trossard was one of the best performing players in the preseason. Arteta is really clinging on Martinelli that side. But obviously, you cannot just drop out a player like Martinelli, who offered you 15 goals last season and some 3-4 assists, and you easily replace him with Leandro Trossard. I believe Trossard is a very good player, but I think right now it's all about Mikel Arteta going in for the best player he has and the one he believes in, that is Gabriel Martinelli. Because you have to explain to your bosses that how can't you not start a player that went ahead to offer a new contract of £190,000 a week? That is Martinelli, and he makes that demand. Now, who's leading the line? Eddie Nketiah, Balogun, or Kai Havertz, in the absentia of Gabriel Jesus. I think he's going to be this man. That is Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz, to me, had a very decent game against Man City. Unless otherwise, you don't know what the game of football is all about, but he had a very decent game. And this game comes in at a very perfect time for Kai Havertz. Chances are going to be created. I think he offers a lot to Arsenal. Aerial presence is there, and his hold-up play is really great for the team of Arsenal. And I really anticipate that Arteta is going to keep him into that line leading role. Where does this leave Eddie Nketiah? Because for Eddie Nketiah, he thought that maybe in the absence of Gabriel Jesus, it's going to be him leading the line. And Arteta shocked him against Man City that I cannot trust you with leading my line. Meaning that Arteta is preparing for the phase out of Eddie Nketiah, because right now as it stands, Eddie Nketiah is in the third fiddle of Arsenal, maybe even in the fourth, because I don't think he can outplay Leandro Trossard when it comes to leading that line, because Trossard has shown us that he's really a very good player and very, very dimensional. He's not a one-dimensional player, he's a multi-dimensional player. So I think Kai Havertz deserves all the credit to start, and I would love to see him score a goal tomorrow against Nottingham Forest. By the way, people would wish to score goals tomorrow. Declan Rice, one of them. Kai Havertz is another one, and Bukayo Saka. You know, for Bukayo Saka, however much I don't believe in him, however much I don't believe in the talk around that he's the best right winger in the world, I want him to keep that consistency, because to me, I believe that's the best he can offer for his talent. It's only goals and assists. But if you anticipate lots of skills that is going to go and skip past players, you won't see that a lot from him. You know, you can leave that to the likes of Leandro Trossard, Martin Odegaard, you know, Gabriel Jesus, because for them, they have a skill set that can do that. But I would love to see Bukayo Saka really score a goal against Nottingham Forest to really kickstart off this season on a high. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. My prediction for this game is Arsenal 4, Nottingham Forest 0. That is it. That defense of Arsenal is really solid. Even the goal they considered against Man City, you saw it. It was just that they are not compact in the midfield, and the moment they lost their formation of defense in the defensive area, or in the final third of the pitch, or in their half of the pitch, they considered these goals, and obviously it resulted into that. I don't see Nottingham Forest coming in to shock Arsenal, but they need to face the likes of Anthony Elanga, Gibson White, there is Johnson. That front three is really going to be so much sitting back and waiting to hit the team on the break. That is it. So that's what we anticipate from Nottingham Forest, but Mikel Arteta likes that, especially at Emirates. You sit back, he'll obviously get you what you want. So my prediction is 4-0, and I wait and see how you guys are going to tell me what your predictions are in the comment section. Tell me, who do you think you would love to start, and who you think you wouldn't like to see starting into this fixture of Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. Rokani David remains my name. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living true God bless you abundantly. My Muslim viewers and subscribers, Juma Karim. Ciao, ciao.